All right, we back. I do apologize, everybody. We working with some technical difficulties here. Let's go ahead and jump right back into what we were. You were talking about John Wall, Amir. So let's jump back into that.
Um, well, I think John Wall goes hand in hand. Obviously, he's not with the Wizards anymore, but had me thinking Bradley Beal is going to be interesting. I think that's where the drama is going to lie out in Washington. Does Bradley Beal stay there, or does he move? I know the Pelicans. Uh, I know you just pointed that earlier before we cut the feed, but with Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, and what is Zion Williamson doing? What are you guys doing with Zion Williamson?
He's been cleared for all basketball activities, so he's 100% fully cleared to come back and play basketball full time, no minutes restrictions, no restrictions. So with that, I'm assuming that they gonna come in at full strength and have CJ with Herb Jones at the 2, Brandon Ingram at the 3, Zion at the 4, and Jonas at the 5. Now, it could go either way. Somebody could get hurt. You always know that, but and they still might try to make a splash in trades and everything else, because now if Zion come back, now you have an overabundance. You got a Larry Nance there. You got a what's the other boy name? Sideshow Bob, came from Texas. I can't think of his name all of a sudden. I just had it in my head. Yeah, he got the hair. He wanted the little chains. Jackson Hayes. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Even he ain't on the screen, but he's still here. He not on the screen, but he's still here. Even though we talk about his Celtics, he still got our back every day, every time. But yeah, Jackson Hayes. He
sent me 35 messages in that Celtics Warriors recap or that preview. I got about 35 text messages from Fleck. It's like he texted me one letter per message, and I had to decipher it because he's hurting right now.
He wants everyone to know.
So let's just keep him in prayer and in mind, because he has a little sore throat and we don't know what's going on. But I think he's just saving his voice for tonight. He doesn't want to be live and talk to us. That's okay. So you know what? Not only is his throat going to hurt, but his feelings going to be hurt too once the series happens and the Warriors win in the game 6. Just throwing it out there.
He gonna be hurt, but he go to this is what he gonna tell me. He gonna say, "Well, it's a long series. I ain't gonna say nothing off, just off of the first game. It's a long series, so you can't take game 1 for what's really gonna happen." That's exactly how he gonna sound. I just want y'all to know that, because he don't have a voice right now, so I'm gonna give him the voice. That's what he gonna
That's
say.
crazy, because you know what? I'm giving Boston game 1.
Really?
I think the time off for the Warriors, they're going to need some. They're going to have a good third quarter. I think Boston would probably win about 6 points, win game 1, and all the Boston Celtics fans are going to be like, oh my God, Boston in 4. And they haven't won a title since 2009, whatever.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, it's been said.
Calm down. When it come to Boston, they're going to win game 1. I give them that. Even Iverson won game 1. And what happened after that? He lost 4 in a row. Okay?
4 in a row.
I'm not a historian, but I'm telling you how history repeats
people and everything.
Boston's going to win game 1, and everybody's going to go crazy.
They're not winning game 1. I'm not even going to go that far with it. They'll fight and make it competitive, but they're not winning game 1. That's one thing. Golden State is so different, especially when they reach the championship. They are so different. They are poised. They have championship caliber players, and then their bench is super deep. So I think it's going to be competitive, but I think that last game 7 took a lot out of the Celtics, and I don't think they're gonna win game 1. I think they'll win game 2, and then, like you said, they'll have hope, and they'll go through, and they'll be like, yes, we stole one from here. We can go back home. We can get these wins, and it'll be a competitive series, but I got Golden State in 6.
Let me tell you something. Somebody out there trying to put the Celtics hat on Mr. New York Yankee. I don't think that's gonna happen, especially for a month. Also, it's been said that the Golden State Warriors are 7-0 in game 1s for the finals. I don't think that streak is broken tonight. I can't see a way that streak is going to be broken tonight, and I definitely can't see Marcus Smart being 100% after what he just went through in 7 grueling games and he was out with the foot sprain. He definitely not back at 100%, and he gonna have to run around behind either Steph or Clay.
So and don't forget Jordan Poole.
And Jordan Poole coming off the bench is ridiculous too. So it's about to be an entire problem for him. And we gonna see what they made of. We gonna see their competitive mettle, because if you remember, they had the interview that came out with young Mr. You know who I'm talking about. I can't say his name because he's a Celtic, but he had the interview that came out talking about if they had beat the Cavs, they definitely would have beat Golden State in the finals. Sir, I need you to go and have a seat, sir. Y'all definitely was not ready for that type of action. Y'all did not want that smoke, and yeah. So that's just what it is. That's what it is, and I don't think he's ready for it. So
I just want to get ahead of a little controversy that might brew on social media that might get out about my past. So I feel as though I need to get ahead of this before it bites me in the ass.
Oh,
the one time I wore a Red Sox hat, I did lose a bet. All right, I wore it for like 30 seconds. We were playing a game of dominoes. It wasn't even sports related. And dominoes don't even belong on the ESPN the Ocho. So we're not even talking sports. All right, let's go back. Let's get out of Candyland. Let's get back to reality. All right, and you Boston fans are just out there, praying and wishing that you guys get another championship. You said it about the Bruins, and they lost to the Carolina Panthers, who lost to the New York Rangers, who lost to nobody because they're about to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. And we'll get to that in a minute. But let me tell y'all something. Boston Red Sox fans, who's close to last place, let me tell y'all something. These Boston Bruins fans, who's not even watching, who's not even in the hockey playoffs, let me tell y'all something. Who's left? The Tom Brady-less New England Patriots, who can't even, throw 3 times a game? They won that game. I give it to Bill Belichick. He's a genius. But he doesn't trust his quarterback either, and neither should y'all. All right? Y'all going nowhere. Boston sports is dead. And it's gonna be buried after the series is over with. So once the series is over with, Boston sports is going to be irrelevant with 4 R's. All right? Put that on the board. Yes.
All right, it's going to be up here next show. All right, so you brought it up. Let's get right into it. We're talking about the Stanley Cup Playoffs, folks. What's going on in these playoffs with this hockey? Now, I will be the first to tell you that my extent of knowledge of hockey all stems from the Mighty Ducks movies, and I'm not ashamed of that because they had the Flying V, and the Flying V was gangster. And also, Kenan Thompson, he had the knuckle puck. Knuckle puck was that move. Nobody could stop the knuckle puck. And I believe they still can't stop it. But that's neither here nor there. Who do you see advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals, fellas?
I'll tell y'all who we don't see advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's the Boston Bruins. All right? Y'all done got me hyped up now. So, with that being said, the New York Rangers just took game 1 last night, 6 points to 2. All right? 6 goals to 2, excuse me. Now, Connor McDavid is kind of like what Jimmy Butler was with Miami. Connor McDavid is doing this by himself in Edmonton. He's a stud, but he needs help. The Colorado Avalanche are just scoring. They're doing exactly what their name is. It's an avalanche of goals, pun intended. They just beat Edmonton 8-6 in game 1. So far it's 1-0 Colorado, 1-0 New York. Now, New York just beat the favorites. The Ottawa Senators, Carolina Panthers, or the Carolina Hurricanes. That's how many name changes in hockey. It's ridiculous. They move every other year. They move. All right. So those that want to fact check me, look that up. Okay. They just beat the Carolina. The Hurricanes. Who's the favorites? Who just beat the Boston Bruins? Okay. So everything I'm gonna say from here on out is gonna say who they beat, because the Golden State Warriors is about to beat the Boston Celtics. The Yankees just beat What is Fleck doing? He's throwing me off.
I don't
Put
know.
on some pants. Now, with that being said, hockey has been a scoring machine this postseason. There's been no defensive, no goaltending, all offense. And that's great. That's great. There's been a lot of penalties, but one thing that the Rangers got right now is their penalty killing machine. I think they went on about 5 times on a defensive against Tampa Bay Lightning yesterday. So, yeah, I'm going with the Rangers and Colorado Avalanche in the Stanley Cup Finals this season.
All right, Rob, what you got?
He just took it right out of my mouth. I'm going with Colorado Avalanche and the Rangers as well. But I'm literally, like he said, the Avalanche just score and score and score. It's like an avalanche of points. I'm picking the Avalanche to win it all in the end. But yeah, I have them going against the Rangers in the Stanley Cup Finals right now. So,
all right, yep, I'm with you on the Avalanche, and I know I picked Tampa Bay at a couple of rounds ago to take this thing and go to it. 2-time champion and everything, but the way that the New York Hockey Rangers was scoring goals at will when it was last night.
Last night.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I'm a little afraid for Tampa Bay right now because they look like they wasn't ready for it. It looked like I'm gonna go back to my movie, the Mighty Ducks. I'm gonna go back to that. It looked like when they was in the little kid Olympics and they had to play that German team for the first time and they was not ready. The German team put something on their face and they was scared for real. The Bash brothers split up and they just didn't have it. They didn't want it. And yeah, David, it's just one game. You're right. It was only the one game, but I don't know. Unless they gonna have to come out next game looking spectacular for me to want to get behind them again. But they can do it. Make no mistakes about it. They can do it. It's just.
But the one thing that the Tampa Bay Lightning, like you said, the 2-time defending, the reigning defender and conquering NHL Stanley Cup champions will say, Tampa Bay Lightning has not seen an offense like the Rangers has.
That's true.
I think the Florida Panthers scored 2 goals the entire series.
Wow.
That's an anemic offense at best.
That's ridiculous.
So Tampa Bay just skate through the playoffs so far and then bam. So now being a 2-time champions, I don't see, I do see them making adjustments. They're not champions, they're champions for a reason. Mm-hmm. So I do see them making an adjustment, but it might not be on the defensive side. It might be, hey, instead of playing keep away on goals, we have to match them up goal for goal. And to go back, and if I can cross that sentiment with basketball, the Celtics will try to stop them all they want, but they're not matching them point by point. It's going to be a problem. Mm-hmm. Okay, and that's not hate there. That's not bias. I'm speaking facts. Because even the best defensive team still got to score. And that's what you got Golden State. And Celtics are not breaking 100. They haven't broken 100. It's been forever since they broke 100. All right? They're good. But to beat the Golden State Warriors, they have to be great. And I'm telling you, the Lightning, for them to be great, even though they have been the last 2 seasons, they're going to have to match goal for goal against the Rangers and not sit back on the defense because the Rangers already broke that.
Right.
And that's how I see it happening again with the Celtics and the Warriors. And if I had a mic, which I do, but it costs too much, I would drop it. But I'm telling you, those are facts.
Like that. And yes, Jordan, we talk about hockey on this. This is the all sports. So it's all sports. You might come on here and we might be talking about beach volleyball. We talk about all sports because all sports matter, baby. All right. So
Jim, real quick before we go on, I really want to see these adjustments for this next game, though. I really want to see what the Lightning are going to do for this next one because I just don't see them coming back out and having the same performance that they had in that last game.
Yeah,
I really want to see what's going to happen because they're not reigning defending champs for nothing. So this is going to be an interesting series, but I'm curious about it.
Definitely. Yeah, if they don't come out with no adjustments, it's over with. But they will come out with some adjustments.
Oh, yeah, they're going to make some adjustments.
It's like Flex say with the Boston Celtics, Amir. What his name is? M.A. Udoka. What his name is? M.K.? I don't know. That guy. Mr. Knee Alone. That's what we will call him, Mr. Knee Alone. They've been engaged for 18 years. Let's just point that out.
I didn't even know that till the other day.
They've been
engaged. I didn't know that was Knee Alone.
Like 7 years. How you been engaged for that long? That's crazy.
Until the other day, I really didn't.
Hey, man, if he ain't got to put a ring on it to be happy, hey, I'm not mad at him. So
I'm saying he put a ring on it, but he didn't put the extra ring.
See, he put the extra ring on it.
That's what it was. But
he ain't about to put a championship ring on it either.
So, like Flex say, he a master at making adjustments. So we gonna see what the Lightning do. The Lightning might need one of him to make sure that they good.
And I anticipate the Lightning making a series out of it. I'm not saying the Rangers are just gonna run them out of town. I expect that series to go 7 games with the Rangers having the home field advantage, which is huge in hockey. It really is.
Yep. So let's we talked about basketball, we talked about hockey, talked about some off season. Now, let's talk about what's going on in the off season of the NFL. So right now, y'all saw today we had a few notable names hit the retire button. Right? We had Frank Gore signed a 1-day contract with the 49ers and went ahead and called it a career. One Hall of Famer off top. You had Alex Mack called it a career today. Who else was it? It was somebody I was looking at. Yes, home ice. You're right, David. Who else retired today, Amir? While I'm thinking.
Alex Mack, Frank Gore, Fitzmagic.
Fitzmagic.
Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yep.
Played for every team in the league.
The greatest journeyman to ever see the NFL. I'm just saying.
But so you see these guys retiring, and it's like today is NFL retirement day. Who else you see retiring? Do you see anybody else go? Think anybody else go retire before the season starts?
Antonio Brown just mentioned the other day that he doesn't. Hold on. Antonio Brown literally just said the other day that he anticipates not playing ever. I think he's come to the fact that either nobody wants him, which they probably don't, or he's just too much trouble. But I think he's soaked that in finally and say he's done.
So guess who else saw that?
We'll call that a retirement.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder saw that coming a long time ago.
It's more like you can't fire me if I quit.
Right. Oh, okay.
There you go. Right.
It's one of them like
Bravo.
One of them type. All right, I got
you.
Well
played, sir.
I can't call that a retirement because that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But technically, it's a retirement. But again, Terrell Owens and Chad Ochocinco hasn't retired yet. For the record, neither one of them have retired.
They really haven't. Even though Terrell Owens is in the Hall of Fame, he technically has not retired.
He's still playing in the
arena league. He's still trying to get signed with the NFL team.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Who going in the box of promotion? AB? Antonio Brown? That's what you talking about, David? All right. Well, I'll take that.
Well, it's true. He might be on one of them Paul undercards.
I hope he come out with one of his rap songs.
I feel like he don't want to get in the ring with Paul, though. That might be a problem.
No. That's why I said undercard.
Very under.
Like he'll fight a Darren Williams like Frank Gore did.
Yeah, that's true. Frank Gore sure embarrassed the whole football community with that one. But, Darren Williams was that guy. Evie Ortiz, that's a great question. Is Colin Kaepernick returning? We saw he had to work out with the Raiders. They said it went well.
Right.
Mr. Old Chucky over there, he seemed to like Kaepernick. Do y'all think it was a publicity stunt, or do y'all think he got a real shot at coming back?
Well, Gruder's not over there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I think it's more of a publicity stunt afterthought, if it kind of makes sense. Because I'm telling you right now, if somebody worked out for you and they liked it and went well, they usually sign them almost immediately.
Right.
They usually get signed, especially in the offseason. We're not talking about, week 2 of the playoffs and you got 3 quarterbacks. We're talking OTAs. What's going on right now, right? So You can like him all you want, but it's probably just testing the waters. How does your fan base react to it? How does your Twitter? Is it blowing up? Is it not? Are you getting a lot of hates? Are you getting a lot of mean faces on Facebook? You know, I think they're testing the water, and obviously it should have been done 3 years ago as far as testing the waters.
Right.
At this point, you either want him or you don't. There's no BS about it. You know, everybody saw his skills or lack thereof, but even his lack thereof is still better than 50% of the backups in the league now.
Right.
So you're either going to sign him or you're not. That's it.
Yep. And you know that's my thing. When you talk about the skills and you know better than the backups, he's definitely better than Oakland's backup. Who's Oakland's backup?
Peterman.
Is it Peterman?
Peterman?
I think it is Peterman.
It's not Nick Mullins. I thought it was Nick Mullins. Either way, he's still
neither one of them better than Kaepernick.
Right.
No, not even close.
So here's my entire argument with that, right? Because there was a whole lot of 49er fans that I had to go off on. Y'all know I'm a 49er fan. It was a lot of them when Cap brought you to the Super Bowl is, oh, Cap's great. He's great. But when Cap is hurt or when he starts taking a knee, now he was never good and he deserves to not be in the league and all of this and that. So where do you really stand? Because what was he great? Or was it just because he got you to the Super Bowl? You know what I'm saying? Because he's better than these guys. A lot of these guys is in there, but somebody because he was taking a stand.
Somebody just posted that Kaepernick hasn't played in 3 years. Do we not remember that they called Johnson up off the sofa after 7 years? He hadn't played
off the entire sofa.
He came completely off the sofa, and he was trash before he went to the sofa. They brought him back off the sofa.
We had somebody who was working at IKEA.
Yeah, he was right
at IKEA. Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
So,
Jared, did you watch the Kurt Warner movie again? Because I don't remember that one.
Which one?
coming out of IKEA to play quarterback. I don't think that was real life. That could have been one of them, Hallmark movies.
We're working at Walgreens stocking shelves. But
So Fleck just posted that the backups for the Raiders are Jarrett Stidham out of Auburn, who is trash, and Nick Mullins, who is trash. So I would definitely call up Cap and bring him in over those two. Right. Josh Johnson was the guy who they brought off the sofa 7 years after he had
Josh Johnson threw over 300 last year. All right.
In one game or the whole season?
Right. Yeah, some people threw over 300 in the game. I don't understand where you're coming from with this logic. But
last time I checked, the quarterback is supposed to throw
that's your entire job. Your entire job is to throw.
That's his job.
Yep. Throw the ball. But you know what?
Yeah.
Neither here nor there.
We delve too deep in this. We talk about Cap. Let's talk about the other Cap. Because we went from
perfect segue
taking a knee to this Cap saying that he's going to stay in the clubhouse during the national anthem. Now, it's been a lot of people out there. They're upset that he said he's going to stay in the clubhouse. There've been some people saying, "Who gives a crap about what he does?" Where y'all land on this?
Now, let me chime in real quick and give you a little backstory on Gabe Kepler. Now, let me just state the obvious. He's white. Okay, that's no surprise to anybody. Now, that's not a knock or anything. The reason I'm saying is the backstory because he is a little unconventional. Maybe I should have led with that. He is unconventional in the style of the manager that he is. He doesn't care if his team is winning 15-0. He's still going to bunt his players over. He is going to throw at your head even though you did absolutely nothing. He can give two craps about your opinion. So with that being said, that is my backstory on Gabe Kepler. Gabe Kepler, yes, is a player first. We got that. He came from major leagues. Usually outfielders do not make good managers. If you look at history, it's been catchers or first baseman. who typically make good managers because they usually see the whole field every game. And I'm pretty sure if you look at the stats, which I haven't, but somebody can fact check that. If you look at position players, the catchers make the most managers or make the better managers at that. With that being said, Gabe Kepler got that job for being Gabe Kepler. Gabe Kepler got that job because he said, hey, he had no coaching experience. None. And said, hey, I can take your team, which he has. His team won 109 games last year. Mind you, with the talent that they had, or lack thereof, as I said, with Kaepernick. He is a damn good manager. But this is not what we're talking about. This is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about his managerial skills. We're talking about his stance to stay in the clubhouse during the national anthem. Now, he did that right after the Uvalde shootings. A good time to take a stance, a good time to I'm at a loss for words for this. I discussed it last week. It's kind of tough on me with the shootings. And obviously, he took it personal. Now, everybody, I took it personal. He took it personal. My brothers took it personally. But what can we do? You know, he's in a position of power. Obviously, what he's doing is causing, you know, vibes across Major League Baseball. And it's causing vibes, chatter across the world, or United States, the world. I don't think we care less if Gabe Kepler takes a knee, but across America. The reason we're discussing him, and a perfect segue from Kaepernick, because Kaepernick took a knee so everybody can see him. Kepler just chose to stay away out of protest. People protest differently, right? Raise your right hand, do a fist, take a knee, blow a kiss, hold hands, interlock arms, don't come out of the clubhouse at all, like the Pittsburgh Steelers did that one time. You know, so I think it's a non-issue, long story short, but I just wanted for you guys to get a backstory of who Gabe Kepler is, to say that he can give two craps of what my opinion is, what your opinion is, and what opinion of America is. He's going to do what Gabe Kepler wants to do.
Oh, and Amir, your question about which position make the best managers for baseball, it says, I Googled it, second base and first base. Said that the length of managing careers for those categories or those positions is about 10 or more years against all the rest. So yeah, I didn't expect that. But like you had stated about Kaplan, it's a sensitive topic, talking about protests. Like you said, everybody protests different. You can either protest by taking a knee, not coming out of the dugout, or being on the field. But you have to sometimes players feel like they have to make a statement. I know this week he lifted his protest for the Memorial Day game, but he went back to protesting right afterwards. And a lot of people are like, why do you need to protest? Why do you need to make a statement? Somebody has to do something, because you can't just sit back. Sometimes people just know they can't just sit back and allow things to happen. So I am 1,000% behind his protest. I think he's doing a great thing. I wish people would have paid attention when Cap tried to bring awareness to the subject. And like you said, he won't care what we say on this podcast, or give two less than a damn's what we think. But I'm grateful for what he's doing right now, right. Taking a stand.
Right. And you know, the one thing I need for everybody to understand, what's being protested is not the flag, it's not troops, and it's not anyone's right to bear arms.
Right.
That's not what's being protested. What's being protested is what's going on in the streets of our country.
Right.
We have politicians on Capitol Hill that instead of doing things to help to stop from an 18-year-old who possibly has mental health issues being able to go out and buy a semi-automatic rifle, they're making everything political, and it shouldn't be that. This guy went out and bought that. I can understand you going buy a weapon for hunting. What do you need a semi-automatic weapon for? What are you hunting that you need a semi-automatic rifle?
Exactly.
And you're selling this to 18-year-olds who they're barely out of school. If they're out of school, they're living in bad parts of the city. This is the only thing they know how to do. They came up trying to do the right thing and went down the wrong path, or they may just have mental health issues altogether. But we're not helping them by saying, oh, you can't take away my right to bear arms. That's not what nobody's saying. So let that argument go. We need to come together as a country and stop doing all this political stuff. But let me get off my soapbox and let's continue on, shall we?
Yeah, yeah, please go ahead. I'm gonna stop.
We talking about baseball now, so let's go ahead and talk about the power rankings. This is who we currently have in the power rankings. Do you like this list, Amir?
I do. It's consistent. It's been consistent week in and week out. For those of you that follow me on Pride and Passion Baseball Talk, cheap plug there. I've said it before: the Dodgers and Yankees going to flip flop 1 and 2, and they will continue to do so in the weeks coming up. No issues with this list whatsoever. The one team that is creeping up, though, and you probably see them. Probably top 7 or 6 of the Toronto Blue Jays. For those, again, that have followed me since day one, I predicted that the Blue Jays will win the American League. And that's with me being a Yankees fan. With that being said, I did not see the Yankees being this good. I saw them being good because they're always good. But they always fall short of greatness. And being good, this one can't so far.
My man.
Okay, so watch out for the Blue Jays. I think they won 7 in a row, so they should be creeping up. The Rays should be falling down. The Angels will probably be out of the top 10. I think they lost 8 in a row. So this list is going to change the bottom 5, but that top 5 should stay the same.
Yep. I know the Dodgers. I think the Dodgers lost 3 in a row, 2 in a row. So they're still trying to do work, and we know that this is where the good teams separate themselves, to steal a phrase from Amir, and the good teams are going to go ahead and separate themselves right now, and that's just what they're doing. So as long as the top 5 keep winning, I don't see this list changing too much as we get into the rest of the heat of the summer.
Amir, how do you feel about the Subway Series, and how much of an effect will it have on the standings of the American League? You knew I was going to ask you about the Subway Series. I'm just saying.
How you feel about that, Amir, the Subway Series?
I don't know, because AJ was giving his opinion in my ear, so I only heard like half of that. Y'all forgive me.
No, you
but
good.
I am
You
just tired.
Hang in there, nephew. Call back. Fall back. Give me a second. How do you feel about that Subway Series?
He got an opinion.
And I know AJ has an opinion.
I actually think that it can happen. I made some adjustments in my predictions, and I think I talked about this 2-3 weeks ago. The Mets is clearly contingent upon their pitching. You know, they have injuries to Scherzer, to DeGrom, to McGill. So they're going, but they have a weak National League East. So I don't anticipate any issues. And yes, the Atlanta Braves is weak in the AL East, in the NL East, in the American League East. Also going to be Toronto, Tampa Bay, and the Yankees. So the Yankees are going to have a little harder time getting to the World Series. But I think the Mets only have to face the Dodgers at this point, in the National League Championship Series.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't foresee the Mets making it past that series. And you are correct. The Atlanta Braves are trash.
I appreciate it if y'all get out my Braves. I'm just saying.
I just want to point that out.
We're in a hard space right now, but come on
I needed for everybody to know that was my opinion. The Atlanta Braves are trash. And no, it don't have nothing to do with them beating the Dodgers for the World Series on last year, but the Atlanta Braves are trash.
The Red Sox got to be rated to be overrated. That's how trash they are. They're not even overrated. Yeah. They're not even rated. We're not even going to talk about the Red Sox. You know what? Next slide. I ain't got time for this.
So, do we want to touch on who won the Players of the Week last week? Might as well. Let's do it. We here. We see it. It's right there. This is who you got. You got who are the Cleveland? The Guardians?
Guardians.
The Guardians.
I don't even know how
Guardians in the Mets.
No, I think the irony of this is that these two play together. You know, with the Cleveland Indians just a few seasons back. Lindor had that $300 million contract or that $270, $280 million, whatever it is, close to $300 million, and decided to take last year off. He literally decided to take last season off. So, yeah, the Guardians are all they are is Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez last week, I think, was 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, 3 steals, 3 walks in the 7 games they played. Lindor had like 14 RBIs, 384 batting average. Yeah, that's what I got. Again, those are facts, but yes, the Cleveland Guardians, not the Cleveland baseball team, better than the Commanders. I think we need to do a whole show on horrible nicknames, but the Guardians are the Commanders. I don't know.
I would have kept Washington football team.
But the question was asked, and I can't answer it because I can give you about 7 of them. I think this question is to you, Jimmy. Name someone besides Ramirez on the Guardians.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Kevin Love, and I know he played basketball. That's exactly. that's how many players. That's the amount of notoriety they have going on in Cleveland right now.
That's crazy. Shoot. Obviously, I can go on it. Rob, you got anybody?
Hey, look, I have to Google to see who's on there.
You went to Google instead of no?
I didn't want to.
Let's go with, you know what? Tristan McKenzie.
Oh yeah, definitely. The kid is good. Tristan is a good pitcher. You got to look consistency. Yeah.
That's the only name I can think of right now.
I mean,
and that took a lot.
I was in the wrong
literally
sport.
Took a lot.
I was in the entire wrong sport, so it's all good. But
Shane Bieber, yes, he's the ace.
Yeah.
Rob, what do you have as far as a sports tidbit for today? What do we got?
Sports tidbit. So, I was up looking at news a little bit earlier today and noticed that Roger Goodell and the owner from the Commanders will have to testify in front of the Senate hearing committee coming up real soon. And it's at this point, a lot of the owners are really hoping that the Commanders end up being removed from under the footprint of the ownership that is currently there. And I literally sat and talked with a friend of mine who has literally been a Redskins, Commanders, Washington football team fan for like decades. And he was like, when is this going to happen and how soon can they get him out of there? Because it's time to move on. And honestly, I think it's time for a change. It's time for a change. And even though the Washington Commanders are Alabama Crimson Tide North, because basically they draft any and every Alabama player they can put their hands on. Literally, I think they have the largest contingency of Alabama players on one team that is in the NFL. And literally, they just seem to go migrate to Alabama football players. But I think it's time to move on. Schneider has burned many a bridge, and his leadership style is definitely archaic. So it's time to move on. And I'll get out the way.
Go ahead. You was done? My bad.
Oh, yeah, I'm so done.
All right, Amir.
I got two things. I was real quick since I saw the NIL. I guess it popped up in my head. Drew Tyne is returning to Gonzaga for his senior year. He's projected to be a top 10 pick. I guess he doesn't like the teams that are picking, so he said, "I'm gonna take my talents back to Gonzaga." And WWE has their pay-per-view this Sunday in Chicago, Hell in a Cell. I don't think it's going to be that exciting to watch. But I think the irony of it is it's going to be in Chicago. Speaking of Chicago, AEW had their pay-per-view last week, and the Chicago boy CM Punk became their champion. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to go forward here in the next couple of months with CM Punk and AEW. Him representing AEW, I know they got their Japan show, Forbidden Door, at the end of June. And WWE needs a lot of momentum to go forward if they're going to do something when it comes to WWE SummerSlam in Nashville. So I one dying breed and one definitely gaining steam. And I think MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman's promo, I think it was scripted, but I think they're playing really well into a real life scenario because you can have the regular fan believing that it was a pipe bomb. I don't think it was. I think they really are playing along to him not wanting to be there, knowing us real fans know he can't leave for another 2 years. So what's the point of saying he doesn't want to be there? He's going to be there for the next 2 years.
Yep. But
yes, that promo was hot, and it was one of the better promos I've heard in a very long time.
Absolutely. And speaking of WWE, Vince McMahon is just he's proven exactly what made Sasha Banks and Naomi walk out of the show initially by just completely dumping and dropping the women's tag team division and the women's division in general. And it shows you exactly why everybody wanted Triple H to take over for Vince McMahon, because he just does not care about what the fans want. The only thing he sees is all foreigners are bad, all big guys are champions, and all little people are jobbers. So Vince McMahon, go ahead and give it up. Let somebody else do it. But for my tidbit, even though they are not for sale, the Portland Trailblazers, somebody made an offer for them. So Nike, the Nike founder and the Dodgers co-owner offered $2 billion to buy the Blazers. Now, a little backstory on this. The Blazers owner died a few years ago. And he owned, I want to say the Seahawks. Was it Seahawks? But yeah, that stuff, the teams went to his sister, and his sister initially didn't want the teams because she's not a sports fan. But I guess she RIP, you're right. And she came around. She was like, I'm starting to get into this. or she just saw that it was a huge revenue stream of money and she went with it. Either way, now she wants the teams and she's not going to let them go. But they made this offer for $2 billion. Now, I can't say that I wouldn't have at least thought about that offer because $2 billion is $2 billion. But I'm sure the over-under for what she gets every year from the sports teams that she now finds herself in ownership of will far exceed anything she could have gotten from that, and it will be yearly dividends. So with that being said, the time is now 8:00. Be on the lookout because there will come a time when we will ask you to join us on this show. And when we do, we know it's going to be fun. So for my brothers, Poppy Ortiz and Big Robbery, JB,
say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Good to say bye-bye.
Hey, Jay.